Hello, this is Witty, one of the lead designers on the original Dragonlands set.
And this is Mindy, the design lead for the set's revival, but also one of the original, and I think it was your first set that you worked on, designers for Dragonlands.
Yeah, today we're talking about reviving Dragonlands, Uncharted Realms, what's changed, what stayed the same, and how it feels to bring an old set into TFT today. What were some of the design highlights you remember from working on this set?
Dragonlands was a really memorable set for me and was really fun to work on. Part of that was getting to work on the dragons themselves. That was the first set that we really had a whole bunch of new characters. You know, we've done that more recently, but making all those different characters and having so much kind of creative freedom with their kits and just how impactful and central dragons were to the set, I think made it pretty unique, and I'm excited to see it brought back.
Were there like specific pieces of content in this set that you remember being of note to you?
Yeah, definitely some of the highlights for Dragonlands were a shimmer scale, which was a pretty different take on our sort of econ trait, and instead having items that were gold generating. That is, a lot of them have stuck around in the artifact system. Players are going to get to play with Treasure Dragon again, which we saw in Cyber City as a hack, but that's a thing that's in every game of Dragonlands.
Do you remember any like specific dragons? Like you made Zippy, right?
I remember making Zippy. That was definitely fun. Siphon was also one of my favorites. I just like that more sort of volatile, big damage sort of effect.
I remember both of them being like champions that you would watch and you'd feel emotional watching them in combat, because sometimes they're popping off and sometimes you're like, no, where are you going? They both kind of fall in that space, so that'll be fun for players to see again, I think.
So I want to ask you about how things have changed with the revival, and is there anything that really stands out that you either redesigned or needed to change as part of the update?
Yeah, the first place we kind of started was with where can we insert cool stuff to highlight what was unique about the set and also bring things that are older to the new cool standards we have for TFT. For example, we have opening encounters. We didn't have opening encounters back then. We wanted to think, hey, like what are cool things we can add to the, like, you know, adding new galaxy, adding new portal, adding new opening encounter. And one of those things was Dragon Herald. So that one I'm really excited for. That one will be everyone starts with a dragon. So it gives them a little bit of direction and get to play with cool new units. We now make 3-star 5 costs a lot cooler and flashier than they used to be. So we have some special surprises in store, especially if you look at like Zoe or Bard. When players like reach those crazy new heights, they'll see those things. Same for some of our prismatic traits. Jade is pretty fun, I think, because usually you had those little fox jade statues that kind of just stand there, but when you hit the prismatic, they'll come to life and become jade krugs, and they'll run around and explode and deal tons of damage.
I remember it being very hard to hit.
Yes, it should be very hard to hit and it should be very cool.
Anything that you found particularly fun to either play with that you kind of remember, or things that needed to change?
Yeah, mostly adding a lot of new content. So one thing that we brought in that's new is a new champion augment for Itis, where she'll breathe gold-breathing fire, and sometimes it'll pop up gold whenever she does it too. So that'll make her more of a carry, which will be fun. We added some new trait augments to kind of spice them up more too. So if Dragon/Scalescorn, you'll be able to play a little bit differently with the Scalescorn Rebel augment. If you put a dragon in, they'll become really tiny, lose all the effects of dragon, and become a Scalescorn, so they'll become kind of a special carry. So that'll be fun too. There used to be this old comp that was really OP for Darkflight back in the day, when you could put artifacts on them and they would be really strong. You would put Zeke's on the Darkflight unit, and everyone would get a Zeke's Herald. So you can't do that with artifacts anymore. It's only completed items, but we remember that nostalgic bit, so we're bringing that back with an augment, which will give you a special version of the Zeke's Herald, and you can kind of relive that comp a little bit, like in the olden days.
So, having gotten a chance to play Dragonlands again, and it being the first set that you ever worked on, was there anything that you were particularly excited to play with again, or things that you were like, oh, I'm happy I get a chance to change that this go around?
Let's see here. I like playing verticals a lot, so I like that dragons really encourage that, where I'll get a dragon and be like, well, that's my comp, I'll go ahead and play that. Jade was one of my favorites, so I'm excited to play Jade and see all the like shiny units, and just overall playing with all the dragons and even 5-cost units. Like I remember you worked on Yasuo back in the day, where he would like chop up units and like turn them into sushi. That was fun. Same for like Bard. His spell was really flashy, but he would give you like all those shop odds, and the dudes were so satisfying to like pick up. Oh, for Bard 2, I remember something that's really fun was sometimes fun is a quote unquote, but sometimes your shop odds would get really good. You'd have like 20% chance, 30% chance to see 5 costs, but then you're like, oh wait, I need this 1 cost unit for my comp, and you're like, wait a second, I have 0% shop odds for a 1 cost unit. So I remember that kind of thing too. Yeah, what about you? Do you remember anything nostalgic?
I'm excited to play, I mean, the dragons still stick out the most. Myself as well, some of those bigger verticals. I also remember playing a lot of Jade, playing with Soam. Soam is especially memorable as, you know, we'd added these new dragon characters, but Soam was a lot higher effort, a very custom model, custom animation. But yeah, just a lot of good memories. It's good to look back and see how TFT has changed, but also things that were still fun to see again.
Yeah, it's really great seeing it for full circle again and talking to you about this set, just because, yeah, again, it was my first set working on it, and you were one of the leads, and we worked together on it. It's been a long time since then. I remember looking back sometimes, or now working on the revival, I'll look at scripts and be like, oh my God, like, who wrote that? And I'll be like, wait a second, that was me, oh no. And then just seeing all the old designs and reminiscing about when we first ideated them has been really, really neat, so.
Now we are going to ask each other questions from the question armory. So we'll each grab one out of this Teemo hat. And once you have your question, I'll go first. Which dragon from Uncharted Realms best represents you or the person sitting across from you as a designer?
As a designer? I think it has to be Zippy.
Okay.
Yeah, just like so whimsical, and also like, wait, what the heck? But also like some of the best moments, I think, that like really, I really think of Zippy whenever I think about your design, so.
I see, I'll take it.
What would your treasure dragon armory have in it?
Oh, yeah, if it was in-game, I would love to see a lot of tank items because I always have too weak of a front line. But if it was an IRL treasure dragon, I would love to have a selection of colorful shirts. So, the revival is now live. Feel free to jump in and take flight into Uncharted Realms, the revival of Dragonlands.